Fly Shields Fly Nation. Again, we have a quarterback change. Because again, we record on Sunday mornings, and of course, some crazy stuff goes down. So, Silvers gets removed, Harrison Frost goes in. This is an FCS product, started off at Mercer, then went to West Georgia, played for the Sea Dragons of the OG XFL, then goes to the CFL for a little bit. He's the backup, I guess, maybe possibly starter for those Seattle Blackhawks. So either way, I fully expect a party at Audi Field next week. See you there.
What's up, guys? Back here with the Fly Shields Fly podcast, the premier UFL's DC Defenders podcast. Jay, I gotta say, it's funny, we're practicing not talking to each other before we're recording, so it's just us chatting. Um, I swear we're always on the same page, even me waking up, like, I could really use an extra half hour to do X, Y, and Z. And then I look at my phone and you're like, can we record at 10? And I'm like, let's go. And I don't know if I've ever been as productive in 90
in a
minutes.
condensed time frame.
I mean, I went to Home Depot. I got my car washed. I vacuumed my car. I trimmed branches. I weed whacked. I did dishes.
Do you see what a coach can do with 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was, well, that wasn't 30 minutes. I will say, I do want to say that the coach speak. Like, there's something, I'm not very handy. My dad's super handy. But going to Home Depot and having a pallet full of soil, and you have your hand, you got your elbows tight, you got
There's
your
something
hands
about it.
in, and you're just pounding that pavement. You just got that perfect offensive line drive block form, pushing that soil. And people are looking at me in the parking lot, but that's how we get our fix in these days. So anyway,
That's how you get your fix in.
yeah,
I'm
well,
heading straight to the field to put in some work as soon as we're done with this.
yeah. Well, anyway, on to the spanker. A 45-7 beat down of the Houston Gamblers, but it was kind of hard for me to feel good about it. You know, the vibes I got is when I was at the NFC Championship when the Eagles were playing against Josh Johnson after Hassan
It's kind
Reddick
of the same thing, man.
taking out Brock Purdy. I mean,
Kind of the
Tualia
same exact thing.
Tagovailoa coming in off the streets, and he couldn't get anything going, and I don't blame him. I mean, credit to him for stepping in, but still, the defense looked good and looked great, and we'll get into all that. Just to remind our listeners of the sequence here, we're going to start with our opening drive, head into the Red Eye, sponsored by Together Skateboarding and Coffee, dive into the film room, talk about the lemon of the game, the look ahead for next week, and the final whistle. So for the opening drive, we're going to do a quick personal anecdote. Coach Jay does not know what these questions are heading into the pod. And then a little background on the UFL. Each week, trying to give you a little nugget and unpack to give listeners and fans just a better understanding of the UFL and the Defenders' role in it. So, my first question is giving you an opportunity to shout out an impactful coach from your football career.
Ooh, man. My most impactful coach,
I didn't say most. I try because I
just A.
hard.
Well, you know what? I'm with the easy one is dad. The
Yeah,
easy one is dad as first coach all the time from start to finish. But I'm actually gonna go with a little curveball and go away from football. So one of my most impactful coaches was my junior high wrestling coach. I hadn't wrestled except for 1 year as an elementary student, and I hated it. I didn't know the rules of wrestling, so I would go out there and try my hardest, and I never knew if I won or lost until the end of the match. And if my hand went up, I obviously knew I won. If it didn't, I lost. And I was a sore loser at this point. This is probably second or third grade. Um, Seventh grade rolls around. I hung up my basketball sneaks for the last time, retired from that game, and stepped on the wrestling mat. And Coach Platchek, he was the shop teacher at Central Junior High School and also the wrestling coach. Uh, he had a way of getting us to work super, super hard, but also to love the sport. I don't know how good of a wrestler he was, or even how good of a technical coach he was, but he got us to understand that if we put in hard work early and often, we would have big time results. So him and our he eventually got replaced because again he wasn't very good at wrestling. And Coach Thomason uh, came in after him, and he was the guy who taught us how to be great wrestlers in conjunction with that hard work that we had installed from when we were younger. So those
Watching
two coaches, wrestling a hell of a sport.
the winning habits.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How about you?
I love that you went wrestling. I mean, we bond over that too. But I went offensive line center here. Shout out to O-line coaches, one from high school, one from college. Coach Jim Cunningham was my O-line coach in high school. And when I first converted to O-line, he put the absolute fear of God into me. He was bigger than a person. He was a standard, and that's kind of what I feared the person at first, and then I realized that I wasn't fearing him. I wasn't scared of Coach Gunn. I was intimidated by the standard he set. And once I got older and I realized that, I mean, we were meticulous. We did these things called bird dogs, where everyone was on a grid, and he would be like, one step right, pull step left, and like everyone had to go. It was like a flock of birds going in unison if it was done right, and if you did it wrong, you like messed up the entire flock. And so Coach Khan really teaching me the discipline and the standard that it means to be an lineman. And then Coach Paul Russick, he is he's now the head coach at his alma mater, Pittston High School, up kind of by your way, right?
Yeah.
And I think you'd met him before, but he was my offensive line coach my senior year of college at Dickinson. And I had slowly but surely gotten better and became a starter, but he really unlocked me, and I believe he made me actually good. Two things really. One, he was just talking about going the extra mile. And it started off by we needed to be in better shape. So he said, every play we run in scout, just run 5 yards and back. Run an extra 5 yards and back. And the idea was that it wouldn't help that one play. It won't make you better that one play. But if you run 80 plays in a week, 100 plays in a week, and you do 5 yards and back every time, then all of a sudden those small things add up and build mountains. And then he just really made me passionate about blocking on the run. When I would block on the run, I couldn't understand. I would make contact, I wouldn't bring my feet, and then the guy would just get away. And just me bringing my feet with me. And which is really what I see a lot when I see center number 51, Michael Maietti, pull, which he did on freaking stinking play 2.
Ha ha.
But we'll
Big
get
play.
So,
Big play.
thank you, Coach Gunn. Thank you, Coach Russick, Coach Tomlinson, Coach Platchek. Come on now. We're just
Let's go,
shouting them out.
coaches. Shout out to the coaches.
Okay. So, you ready for my little mini lesson?
Let's do it.
All right. So, something that piqued my interest that I wanted to dig into is just the structure of the conferences. I mean, even the first episode, I think I just assumed, and even when I was talking to you, Jay, that we were keeping the same model, that there was going to be 2 conferences of 4, top two, conference championship, UFL championship. And that's not the case.
Shook it up.
This year's a free-for-all. This year, it's just all 8 teams in one unified division. I'll come back to that unified part because it's apparently for the brand, and I have a question for you about that as somebody who is a business mogul yourself, a marketing mogul yourself. So I figured, let me just give you a progression of how the UFL's conferences have progressed. So in 2023, when the XFL came back after Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Danny Garcia, and next week we're going to talk about the ownership development too. We had a North Division and a South Division, 4 teams in each. This is where our rivalry with the Seattle Blackhawks goes back to, both in the North Division. And then in 2024 season, when we merged with the USFL, the conferences, then we took 4 teams from the XFL and 4 teams from the USFL, creating those individual conferences. So we have the 2 brands almost feeding some sort of competition, some sort of nostalgia. We have the 4 USFL teams, the 4 XFL teams. Those are the conferences. You get top 2 there. You go to the UFL championship after those conference championships. That remains the same in 2025. Okay, so 2023, We have XFL North and South, 2024 and 2025. We have the USFL and the XFL conferences. And then we shift this year to 2026. We just have all 8 teams, top 4 go to the dance, and then they'll seed it 1, 2, 3, 4. So then one will play 4, 2 will play 3, kind of like a wrestling bracket. So doing a little bit of research here, one, I mean, that's every game matters now. Like every
Yeah,
game matters now.
conference or not.
I do believe we'll finish toward the top, but it gets a little scary in the middle there. But the idea that I'm reading from the ownership group is that this is trying to be a symbolic shift away from the fact that there was a merger or the fact that there were 2 separate leagues. They want the UFL to be this one unified brand. No longer the XFL, no longer the USFL, no longer pitting them against each other, but one unified, competing as a united 8-team league and one brand identity. I do admire that to a degree, but I mean, I think it's just the history teacher in me that values the roots, right? Values the nostalgia and the roots of having a USFL and an XFL conference. So I'm wondering how you feel about that. How do you feel about this shift towards a single brand identity?
I think it's great for right now, but I think it's just for right now. Even on the broadcast, Defenders game, they're talking about all the teams that are coming. So I think it's important that they make moves for this moment for 2026, which I think it makes sense. Let's unify. Let's make sure this is one brand because they intend to grow. They intend to expand to new cities. OKC, they're building a stadium. I don't know how many teams they'll plan to get to. I don't know if that's been talked about, but as you're growing, I think it's smart to bring everything into one. I understand where you're coming from with the history, but you don't have the AFL and the NFL anymore. You still have the AFC, the NFC, but those teams have gone back and forth between the 2 conferences for the National Football League. Um, they still play in their conferences, but it's a much larger pool. You've got 16 teams in each conference
Yeah.
for the NFL. With the UFL, there's going to continue to be expansion teams. There's probably going to continue to be these drafts where you have a guy, right, like the defensive end that was playing for the opponent today,
Malik
this
Fisher,
past,
baby, V's up.
right? He was with us just a few months ago, winning the championship, right? So that's going to continue to happen. I think it's smart to unify the brand, bring it all under one umbrella, but I don't think it'll stay that way forever.
Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe until we expand more, then it might
Yeah, once there's 12 teams, maybe we're back to this 6-6, or who knows? Who knows what
4-4.
happens in the
Oh,
future?
how that would
Yeah.
be kind of weird. You have to do like a pigtail. You mentioned something, Jay, that transitions us to the Red Eye, sponsored by Together Skateboarding and Coffee, bringing coffee and community together in North Philadelphia. I didn't mention the fact that some of our players weren't protected. So you mentioned Malik Fisher, Villanova grad, and had 3 sacks in 2 of our postseason games last year. A big reason for us taking home that UFL championship. He was not one of our 12 protected players, which is fascinating to me that he didn't make the cut. And it'd be funny if it'd be fun, not funny, but fun if we maybe tried to guess who they did protect. But I want to make clear on that. I didn't mention that when these new teams came in, the UFL teams had the ability to protect 12 players on their roster, and the rest could be poached. And that included Malik Fisher and Anthony Hines, who we talked about. Who else did I see? I saw Chris Rowland, who's on another team. We're going to see him in a couple weeks. He was one of our best receivers the last couple years as well. Um, and then also, I have alluded to this formal collaboration between the UFL and the NFL. And I want to be clear that it's still one step shy of true formality. But the 2 things that they're really working hand in hand on are the UFL's experimentation with the true line ball spotting, which is
Mm.
supposedly more accurate than
And
obviously.
already happening in other sports. Like that same tech's been used in baseball and for tennis for as long as I can remember. So, it's proven. It's cool that they're getting a chance to test it. I think that's one of the coolest parts of this unofficial official partnership.
Can you guess the other thing that is regularly communicated about regarding on-field.
Is it how the refs conversations are publicized?
Close. It's the coach to player communications. So they're
Mm.
experimenting with the capability, the length, the
So can
technology.
we can we can we pop on that real quick? So I think it's super cool. So for if you haven't seen any UFL game, you haven't watched a Defenders game yet, uh, when the play's being called, you can actually hear the coordinator, you see the coordinator, you see the quarterback, you hear both sides of that conversation. And as you know, the younger kids. I don't know if you see this where you coach, but kids aren't watching as much football. They're seeing plays, they're seeing highlights.
They're watching
When you
clips and they're playing Madden.
Yeah, when
That's
you sit and watch a DC Defenders game or a UFL game in general, you're seeing so much more. You get to hear the play call, right? You get to hear the conversation when the refs have a conference. Like there was a flag that got picked up yesterday, and you got to actually hear the conversation between two officials discussing whether or not there was a penalty or not. And every time that there was a penalty, you heard the conversation between the refs about what they saw, what's going to happen next. And that just it gives you a new perspective and it opens up your mind to what actually happens outside the whistles. You get to understand the play calls. I'm starting to hear, oh, cool, they're calling 789. That's a deep route. That's a post. That's a corner. Other people might not pick up what's going to happen,
yeah,
but there was a play. Shout out to our OC again, man.
Fred.
He is out here cooking.
Come on now, Fred.
Fred Kais was dialing him up. There was a blitz from the defense, and we had the perfect play call. And it was cool because 10 seconds before you're hearing the play call, you're seeing that the blitz is coming from the defense. And as a coach, as a coordinator, I knew that play was going to hit. And it's cool to have that extra feedback in the viewing experience. If you're a young player and you're listening to this podcast, or if you're just a person who wants to understand the game better, for when the NFL comes back around, or just because you want to understand for your level of ball, watch these UFL games. They're giving you so much free knowledge in addition to a great entertaining product.
I'm with you. I,
Was that the other thing?
you're preaching to the choir. Come on. Uh, I'm gonna before I lay it on thick because there was a lot of prophecies that you had that played themselves out, and I want to give you ample credit along
Let's
my,
go.
my film room recap. My last section of the red eye is come on, Coach Jay, we're getting our listens up. You know I'm a proud high school teacher. You know some of my kids are starting to listen, and they're like, "Yo, your co-host cursing too much. You gotta
Come on.
chill out."
What they
I
don't
said,
they don't
"Oh yeah,
drop any bombs. They don't drop any words. No. I was down last week. I was down to 2, and I'm at 0 right now. So
you're at 0 right now." So
get it
hashtag
together.
verbal discipline is what we call it in the classroom.
Oh goodness. All right, my
Verbal
verbal
discipline.
discipline.
Oh, there you go.
Those
All right.
Pencrest, is it Pencrest Warriors? Is that what you are?
No, you're
The
combining
Lions,
my wrestling team and
right? Pencrest,
Crest
no,
Lions.
Lions.
You're thinking of the Henderson Warriors.
See, too many coaching.
Yeah, it's true. All right, now we're going into the film room, and Coach Jay will get his praise in a second. I couldn't just let that grievance build up. I had to air that. Not too much in the nitty gritty here, but a 45-7 spanker, and I just want to talk about the tone setters. The first 2 plays of the game. This is where I'll pump up
Yeah,
my prophecy here. Is the story of last week. First play, we have the window dressing theory, right? We have trips. I called it trips left tight. Some call it trips left bunch. And we motion one of the guys in trips to the right. We motion him back to the left. Set hut. We fake a handoff going right. We throw the screen pass going left. Boom. Right? Window dressing. Making it look crazy, but it's not. We're making the vegetables look like dessert, Jordan.
mm.
And they're hitting.
Some honey
Okay?
glazed carrots on the plate.
And play 2, what do we get? An outside zone. Guess who was open? Michael Maietti, center, number 51.
Number
Guess who
51.
pulls? Guess who has the ball knowledge to know that I'm pulling? I'm going to be an extra blocker on the perimeter for Jackson. He gets a jersey on a jersey. DJ gone 60 yards.
60
Cone setter.
yards.
The two strengths that we highlighted last week, they hit like lightning, and we're off to the races. And I also want to shout out, while I have it in my notes here, this is a really great extension or addition to what we talked about. Fred Keiss, and we'll talk about the coaching trees in a future episode in the opening drive. But Fred Keiss coming from a FCS Division I AA background, where they have these more not simplified offenses, but basically play simple, play fast offenses that either you add a wrinkle or you add something that looks different, right? The window dressing or adding a wrinkle that makes it look different, but it's really just your core fundamental principles, and you're spicing it up to get different looks and get different openings. John Grimsley, another teacher and coach from Georgia, Defenders fan down there, just highlights how these FCS play callers are really effective for these spring leagues because you have limited time, you got people coming in and out, and you have players that really haven't, been in these extensive NFL locker rooms and meeting rooms. So I really think that makes sense, and that's why we've been able to have this continuity, this play simple.
Yeah, it's continuity, but even as the players change, like you mentioned the receiver that got plucked in the draft, you have new players in and out of the lineup at times, and look at Tagovailoa, who had to step in. These systems have to be systematic. Like you have to be able to pick these up on the fly. Like I think their backup, so player who started at quarterback was new to the team. Second string, new to the team. Third string was actually a wide receiver.
John Trey Kirkland, baby.
Right? So like you have to have a system that can translate and transfer and be played by guys potentially of different skill sets. So Kais, keep doing what you're doing because you're cooking them up.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with a lot of the same. And again, I mean, they had their full defense, so I'm happy, and we'll get into the Blackhawks of it all. But
and yes, we know they're the St. Louis.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. That's part of the shtick. We will not call
ever again
the team from Missouri by their regular name. The team that goes to
forever be.
They are the Seattle Blackhawks to the Fly Shields Fly podcast, and that's what they are. They are our rivals from the North Division in 2023, and that's what it is. Thank you, Coach.
That other team.
I do. Okay, so I'm going to head into defense here. One, Tualia Tagovailoa, interesting anecdote here is that he has a relationship with Kevin Sumlin, the Gamblers head coach. Kevin Sumlin was the offensive coordinator at Maryland when Tualia Tagovailoa was the quarterback at Maryland. So
the Big Ten passing leader.
Yeah.
Pretty successful little season right there he put together.
But, Coach Jay, you made a call to action a couple weeks ago. You made a call to action to number one, Bryce Thompson. And it was excellent seeing him flying around,
yes, sir,
making hits, getting turnovers, celebrating with the beer snake.
Yeah.
And I was hoping you could talk a little bit about Bryce's response to your challenge. And I mean, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the DBs, and then I have some thoughts on the D-line as well.
Yeah, so I will say, way to recover, right? So those who don't remember, Thompson was starting week 1 when we lost to that team from Seattle.
Yes.
And got a little outside of himself, a little emotionally unregulated, and kind of cost us the game. Helped contribute to us not winning that game.
Yes, we can say that.
Right? Gets an offsides penalty while he's still chirping, pulled out of the game, he's still chirping. Obviously we lost that week 1 matchup. Doesn't play week 2 at all. Does not touch the field. I still don't know if he dressed or not, but did not touch the field week 2. And, when we talked after the week 1, like coach got to sit him down. He's gotta have time to reflect and understand that can't happen. but we still trust you, Thompson. We still trust you. We still trust your abilities. You've been an NFL caliber type of player. You've been on an NFL roster. You are an explosive DB who can make plays, and you have the capacity to be a game changer. And came back this week, got his starting position back, and boom, we saw it. We saw it honestly from the whole DB room.
Yeah.
Uh, the defense, 45-7, like you to only give up 7 points in a professional football game is wild. These are professional athletes, professional coaches. Only 100 yards to cover, and they gave up 7 points. And it was late in the game that they gave up those seven. The defensive backfield was on locks, absolute strapping guys down, uh, covering sideline to sideline, covering deep, and Thompson was a part of that. Uh, my guy Gary on with the pick six. I think that our defensive backfield is really a strong point on our defense that I think is one of the better defenses in the UFL.
Yeah, I'm becoming more and more confident in our defense as we go. And speaking of
And when you can
becoming,
marry the two up, I know you're going to talk about the D line. When you
yeah,
can marry up great pass coverage on the backside with a defensive line that can get pressure and cause chaos and also play against the run, that's that makes defense a lot of fun to play. I know when we were coaching together, I was defensive coordinator, and like that's what you love when you have the protection against the passing game at both levels, at the defensive line and at the defensive backfield. It makes it fun drawing up that defensive scheme.
yeah, and again, more roses for you here. And I don't know if you heard this part of the broadcast. Speaking of gaining more confidence, uh, we're getting more confidence in your boy Boogie Basham. The
Told you.
broadcast literally said, I thought they must have listened to the pod. I think they're
They
listening to,
must. They must be listeners.
but Carlos Basham, a couple of weeks behind. Just wait till he gets to full speed, is verbatim what the broadcast said. And you saw that in the first half. I will say he did fade a little bit in the third and fourth, but at least we're getting, again, step by step. We're
Progress.
getting a good first half from Boogie. He drew a couple of holding penalties, more that I don't think were called, and ends up with a sack as well. So you're right. I was
Takes
wrong.
some time.
He's getting
Takes some
better.
time
He's getting
sometimes.
back into shape. And I want to say the opportunity that creates to have people like Derek Roberson, who had two sacks, Boogie Basham on the end, and then you have Joe Wallace in the middle, a stout,
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
strong, great hand fighting D tackle.
Great
If
hands,
they're
great
all on the
feet.
same page, mm, I
I
really,
wouldn't want to be Tagovailoa or any other quarterback who's got to be behind a Swiss cheese offensive line with
and I
those
will
guys
say
coming
too,
in.
like Derek Roberson, a lot of these pass rushers, they struggle to play the run. They're one dimensional.
Not him.
Roberson's so fundamental.
Not him.
You just watch him. These young guys need to just watch Derek Roberson squeeze when the block's down or the block's away from him.
Yeah.
He's so fundamental. So I really have been admiring him too. But if they all got on the same page, we have an excellent like DB room, like Coach Jay said, and then it'll complement the D line. Iron sharpens iron. There, one door will open another there. Um, but other than that, on the film breakdown,
We got to talk about my man real quick. Gary on.
okay, talk about Garion.
That pick six. I just love the play. So he's another guy in our defensive backfield, our other corner, who's been in the NFL, been he was an early draft pick. I think he's a decent early draft pick.
I think he was first round. They're saying, right?
He had a pick six in the NFL against Baker Mayfield that looked hella similar to the pick six he had this weekend.
Yeah,
Uh, Playing the receiver makes a break, stumbles out of that break. He's ready, hands up, catches the ball, and turns into an offensive score almost immediately. Uh, it's crazy when you are a professional athlete and you get to the age of 30 and you're considered old. It
yeah.
boggles my mind every time.
Makes
But
me
did
feel
you
like
catch
Derek.
his his post that play interview on the sideline? So you talk about the access the UFL gives you. He actually did an in-game interview where he slipped up himself and dropped a quick little F-bomb. So students, I don't know if you caught that,
Mm,
said he's so effing old. He said it right there on live TV. Oh no, he said, I don't know why you threw that effing ball. And he tried to catch himself, but the whole word had gotten out. And then he talked about how, at 30, he feels old because this game is so fast, it's so physical, that, 3 decades into it, you're starting to feel like you're slowing down. But I think that it's an interesting position, right? That you can find yourself in as you're aging, maybe out of the NFL, where, you lose half a step there, you're still fast enough to go play in the UFL. It's not like the game is worse, it's just different. It's slightly slower. You don't have, this 6'4" tight end that runs a 4.37 in the UFL, but you might have a tight end who's 6'3" and runs a 4.4 in the UFL. So the game's maybe a step slower, but it's opening up more opportunities. It's more opportunities for more players to put on display their abilities. And I've been very impressed with a lot of the guys that I've been able to watch and get to know, watching these DC defenders.
Yeah, I do feel the more we go on, we're really truly getting to know them more. I mean, half of it's us doing the front work, the research, but also these sideline interviews and hearing the stories. Um, it's been good. Did your camera go away, Jay?
Now you're good.
Oh, okay, cool. Just making sure. I'm gonna head into the lemon of the game, but I do want, and I'm gonna come back to it later. But I want to shout out that Fred Keish trick play was awesome. Having it
Yeah,
lined up like we're in a power eye. Teamu drops back to hand it off, but he just shoves the ball in Briley Moore, tight end's lap, and everybody's fooled, and he just runs for a touchdown. So we'll get back to Briley Moore later. Captain, tight end, celebrates with the beer snake. It was a great day for the beer snake. I can't wait to be
legendary beer snake
in
day.
section next week. Your boy printed out 1,000 stickers with QR codes to the Fly Shields Fly
So
Pod.
if you're going to the game, if you're going to the game, if you're gonna be in DC next week, so is Coach Rob. Get a sticker for the pod, post it, share it, like, subscribe, and hang out with Rob.
It was
Add
gross
to the
you called
beer
me.
snake with
You're
Coach
blending
Rob.
my two names here, Coach Rob.
Let's love it. Let's go.
Feels gross when you call me Coach Rob. Rob or Coach
Lemons.
Mars, two separate things. All right. Anyway, speaking of a sour taste in my mouth that Jay just gave me, the lemon of the game. And this leads to kind of my concern in general. So it was actually a burn from the broadcaster that like it made me kind of go like whoa, but then laugh also.
Woo.
18 from the Gamblers, Major Burns picks off Teamu in the red zone. And the
Sure did.
broadcaster says, I know the Nationals are out of town, but he was playing center field today. And it was it was clever, it was good, it was quick, but it made me really think about my concerns with Teamu. He threw it 27 times this game. And here's my problem with Teamu. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I think he is elite for this league. But when he misses high, right? He sails it. And if I miss, and I think of Donovan McNabb, when you miss and you miss low,
Nobody's getting it.
that ground is forgiving. That ground ain't gonna turn the ball over, ain't gonna take it the other way. But when you miss high, you're getting your guys hurt, and you're more prone to getting that center fielder, quote unquote, Major Burns, to pick you off and take it the other way. So I'm just growing concerned with Teamu forcing it a little bit. And when he misses high, and he puts the ball in harm's way, and he puts his teammates in harm's way when they're coming across the middle. So, we had opportunities here, and we have great receiving core with Cornell Powell, Ty Scott, Braylon Sanders, Seth Williams. Just a thought. Something
Production side is hard to. It's a hard argument you're trying to make that he's not producing. We won 45-7. However, I think these past 2 weeks we played two pretty dog butt football teams. So when we're not playing a dog butt football team, it'll be very interesting to see if it looks more like it did against the Gamblers or like it did against that team from south side of Seattle.
the Blackhawks. Um, what's your lemon of the game?
Oh man, my lemon of the game.
Or
So
lemonade. It's up to you.
you know what? I am gonna go lemonade. I'm gonna go lemonade, and it's not even about the game. It's in between the game with the halftime show,
Okay, Wale.
right? Wale, Wale, DC's finest. I didn't even know Homeboy played ball. He
Yeah,
played football at the D1 level. I had no
Robert
clue.
Morris. Why couldn't they just say running back? They had to say scout team running back in the graphic.
Yeah, so that was part of it, right? Like they tried to down my guy, and then he was nervous. He was didn't show, right? He's got all the charisma in the world. He's an elite performer. Like he's truly a real talent, a multi-talent, multi-hyphenate talent, um, as an athlete and now as a rapper. But being nervous about being able to hear himself, he mentioned in his interview before he went on stage, but great energy. His potential for lemons was that he wasn't going to be able to hear himself as he was up there rapping and performing. But man, he killed it. Went out there and had a great performance. I was actually in my car listening to this, so I couldn't see while he was performing. But I'm in the car driving up to Reading and having a great time. Like I'm just at the concert, I'm vibing out. And it got me to thinking of how amazing it really is to have football in the spring.
Yeah,
Like for it to be getting warmer and the lemons and the lemonade that we get from those lemons icing us down as we're getting to 65, 75, 80-degree days with football. That ice cold lemonade, man. Wale, your halftime performance made me feel like I was at a concert. And a concert in the middle of a football game in the spring is just a beautiful thing.
you're already making me
I know. You're
dread.
juiced up.
No, no, no. Well, yes, but next Saturday
Oh,
it's gonna
because
be
you can't
sunny and
stay.
94 in DC.
And you
And you know
can't.
your boy turns into a lobster, so I'm gonna have my lemon bucket hat on to keep the neck
Okay.
good, keep the forehead
Uh-huh.
good. I might need to go long sleeves and just sweat.
You might need like a face covering, a neck cover, because you're gonna be matching your DC Defenders hat if you don't.
I know. I got to figure that out. All right, let's get to the let's get to the Seattle Franken stinking Blackhawks, our enemies. And I'm just gonna say it out front. I feel really good about next week. The more I look into their roster, their players, I'm realizing week one's a fluke.
Yeah.
Seattle Blackhawks, they have the highest attended games. We're just getting warmed up. And when I really do a deep dive in here, I'll just do a quick run through here. Quarterback, Brandon Silvers, he just does not deserve to be, deserve is a strong word. I, I'm sure he deserves it. Uh, he doesn't, he shouldn't be heralded as a top team's quarterback in the UFL. I just don't believe he's very good. Inconsistent. He was a quarterback at Troy, so small scale, Division One. Great career, put up a lot of numbers. He's second in Troy history in passing yards, third in passing touchdown. Practice squad for the Jets, but a career UFL player that just should not be able to hold a candle to Jordan Teamu. Uh, Running back, the running game struggled, especially last week. Brandon Silvers, their leading rusher. They
Mm.
have their two backs seem to be Jarvion Howard, a Syracuse that transferred to FCS level Alcorn State, and then Kavan Latulis, who's a Missouri State alum. Those are numbers 41 and 25. Again, they really haven't had or put together comprehensive or impressive games. But the real threat is their passing game because they have some good receivers. Our defense really only gave up the one big play in week one. It was to this player, Gary Jennings, number 5. Gary Jennings Jr., number 5. He's a WVU project, big body, fast, and he broke a curl for a 60-plus yard gain. He's actually out for this current week, but I do want to talk about. I sent you a picture last night, Coach Jay. Can you describe it?
Yeah. So it's you, I believe, taking a selfie, or someone took a picture of you.
Of
You're
me.
in the stands behind the opponent. Was that the Seattle?
That was the Seattle team.
Seattle team down on the field. And it looks like, if I had to guess, it looks like you said something that caught their attention. You were close enough that they seem to have been in earshot. And as history teacher and coach, you've got a voice that can be projected, that can carry, that flies with some weight behind it. So I'm sure you were, getting to their ears. And it looks like whatever you said got two of their players talking back and forth. I couldn't quite see the names on their jerseys, but they look like they're talking to each other about whatever they heard you say. So am I close?
You're close.
All
So
right.
in that,
So can I guess what you said?
I don't think you'll get it, but I don't even. I said a bunch of stuff.
All right.
Nothing.
You
Nothing.
tell us the bunch of stuff you said. Where are the Pencrest Lions students going to be upset with some of the words their history teacher slash
I'm a
coach?
very PG heckler. That's part of my brand. Like I'll tell them that they eat Starburst with the wrapper, you know,
Wow.
stuff like that.
Wow.
They keep the wrapper on.
Sickos.
Yeah, like they don't put their Crocs in sport mode, you know, stuff like that.
Wow.
I again, I'm very serious about the verbal discipline when I'm outside of the comforts of my own home. But that picture that I sent you last night without context is me talking to, heckling a bit, but again, PG, what I will call our biggest threat next week, who was injured for week one. And also, and you're gonna be a little mad at me for this, I will say, I will be vulnerable and I will say that this is solely, he is my favorite UFL player to date.
Disappointed doesn't begin to describe how I feel with you right now.
This
I'm
is,
absolutely disgusted that you said that on this podcast. But
I'm not going to internalize this negativity.
proceed with your anarchy.
Number 88, Hakeem Butler. Number 88, Hakeem Butler, has been a premier receiver in the UFL. I really don't understand how he has not had more of an NFL shot. And you'll be able to relate why I like him. I've liked him since he came out of the draft in the 2019 draft. He is an Iowa State Cyclone graduate, put up insane numbers, had 60 catches for 1,300 yards.
Mm,
So over 20
big
yards a
play.
catch.
Big play.
Again, 6'6", 210 pounds, runs a sub 4.5 40. He's a freak athlete. He's drafted early in the fourth round by the Cardinals. This was the draft where the Eagles drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
That's
Okay?
freak.
The reason I've known Hakeem Butler forever is because I wanted the Eagles to draft him. This is when Carson Wentz was struggling with weapons. I was like, Hakeem Butler, that's a guy we're going to get in the mid rounds. I really wanted him on the team. The Cardinals draft him, ends up not making the team on the practice squad, gets picked up by the Eagles the next year, and stays on the practice squad most of the year, was on the active roster for a few games. But it was like, oh my God, Hakeem Butler's in Philadelphia finally. And, you know, maybe if someone can ever find me a Hakeem Butler number 89 Eagles jersey, I'll be pumped about it. But he is a deep threat. He's a red zone threat. He can catch the ball over the middle. He can catch, run at any point in the field. He is a threat. And he has routinely punished the defenders' secondary. So I am really looking forward to this matchup between Hakeem Butler and the defenders' secondary, which, and on the flip side, the other matchup would be, I don't really think the offense for the Blackhawks is going to do too much to the defense. I think the Hakeem Butler secondary matchup is great. We got to see if our boy Fred can take advantage of Corey Chamblin in this Blackhawks
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
That's the matchup here. And specifically to our old friend, Pita Temupeno. Didn't have a sack last week, but you better believe he is going to be
He's coming.
unhinged, lining up at the
He's gonna try
5,
to
the
be
7, the 3 technique. He's going to be lining up everywhere across the defensive line.
all over.
Can the offensive line adjust? Can Fred Keiss scheme?
Because really, that's what it was. Week one, his play. His play put us in long down and distance. He had a couple sacks and a couple hurries and was getting pressure, and that definitely impacted our game week one. Can't have him wrecking the game.
Yeah. So that's really who I see as our two threats: Hakeem Butler.
The Hakeem Butler
Passing
praise is
game.
getting a little out of control, and I'd like for you to tone it down.
The
I
what?
think we'll
Did
be
you the glaze?
no, the Hakeem Butler just it's too much. Relax. I'm not that worried about Hakeem Butler as you are. Peta Teamu, yeah, that's a guy. I don't think Hakeem Butler is going to
I
be
can't wait till Hakeem Butler makes you eat crow next week. So, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Ah,
the ick that I
oh,
just got from you with this again. You need to get your Hakeem Butler praise under control,
man, that
or
just
else
felt
I'm
dirty.
gonna
It
I'm
just
gonna
came
send
out
you
of
to
me.
Seattle.
It just came out of me.
I'm gonna send
Like,
you to
like
Seattle.
he's on my team.
Yep, yep. Just like me with Tiamu Penu.
Hold on, I need to take a deep breath. All right. So anyway, threats here or key matchups to look at: Hakeem Butler versus the Blackhawks secondary, Fred Keiss, offensive coordinator for the Defenders, versus Corey Shamblin, defensive coordinator for the Seattle Blackhawks. And yeah, I just think we're going to spank them. I really do believe that. I think I'm hammering the Defenders spread, the Defenders points. So on that note, oh, also too, I want to mention Ricky Prohl is the head coach for those Seattle Blackhawks. He had a really nice 17-year NFL career. Never topped 1,000 yards, but always stayed between like 5 and 800. And probably most famous for being one of those receivers for Kurt Warner in that 1999 Super Bowl. So I
It's a
did
heck
want
of
to,
a lineup. That receiving core was crazy.
yeah, yeah. And he was just like a guy, but with
Guy
all those
hanging
other
out. Yeah,
awesome
Hall of
players.
Famers.
All right, so we are okay. We're getting close to our time here, so we're gonna head to the final whistle. Mine, one quick one. I loved that, and we're gonna talk about ownership next week. Mike Repoli, who is the new owner, the new co-owner, along with the investment groups that I'll outline next week, Danny Garcia and Dwayne the Rock Johnson. He has been going around to the games and really embracing the culture and appears to be listening to the fans. He was like acknowledging that the UFL merch this year is crap and that it'll be much better next year. I love seeing that accountability. So we'll talk more about Mike Repoli, but I wanted to shout him out. My final whistle, of course, my random thought. My buddy Cole, my college quarterback, one of my best friends in this world, former roommate, Cole Onell, number 9. He said, I feel like your final whistles, your final thoughts are just millennial laments, like a nostalgia and like grieving over a millennial thought or millennial.
Grieving over the time that's
So,
gone.
you know what, Niner? I'm going to lean into that. And I'm going to say that I believe that our generation, the millennials, grew up at the perfect time for the evolution of technology. Okay?
Say more, because I think I agree with you.
We were born into the old, grew into these developments, and are now masters of the new. The kids that are born now only know the new. The older generation struggle with the new. We experienced both. All right. I remember coming down for Christmas one year and I had the one Macintosh desktop computer that I could play like 3 games on. I remember my dad having a pager. All right. I remember having to remember my friends' phone numbers for house
You
phone.
still know any?
I I know a few cell phone numbers.
I still know house phone numbers that would not get me connected to anyone. They're just locked in my
They're
brain
just
for
locked in
no
your
reason.
brain rent free, like Hakeem Butler glaze.
Just
Anyway,
like that.
sorry, I had to had to
Happened
give it.
again.
Sorry, it happened again. It came out of me. Um, and then also, I mean, video games, music. I mean, I had video cassettes. I had video cassettes that I had a little player for in my room, and I also had my CD player walking around. I had my iPod that I had to pay. You know, you get gift cards and you get a
Mm.
$10 gift card, but the songs were $1.05, so the $10 gift card only got you 9 songs. Then
I
you'd have a
remember
few,
having the iPods that could hold like 80 to 100 songs.
and you had to upgrade to get the unlimited or the
The
whatever.
shuffle, you could didn't you have a screen? You didn't know what was coming next.
Yeah, that's you compromised with the shuffle. So I just really and now with the boom of AI, we're still sitting pretty where we have these critical thinking skills and this ability to navigate systems and complex technology, but also having an appreciation for where we came from. And I think it makes us in our generation, the millennials, particularly skilled in just being the masters of tech, just being well rounded, the Renaissance people, if you will.
Yeah,
That's my
we're that generation that
millennial lament.
understands. We know how to write cursive, but we also know how to vibe code.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good take. That is a good take. Uh, my final whistle, my final whistle for this week is just to encourage people to read some books, right? Like
No, Jay.
we just need to pick up some books. I got mine behind me. Robbie's got his behind him. Pick up some books. I want to give a shout out to one of our athletes. So when I still coach, so when you help coach, got to go and travel to Paris and London
Oh,
during spring
down.
break. Young Bracy uh, brought me books back. So he called me, and I'm pretty sure he called me from the tarmac, like about to take off to go to Paris to go abroad for the first time. I'm pretty sure he called me while they were like prepping the plane and asked me if I wanted anything. Um, I told him, it's like, hey, if you see something that strikes you and reminds you of me, I'd love a souvenir. Um, I think that they were on the tarmac because mid part of our conversation, I heard someone say, "Hey, sir, son, you have to hang up the phone now." So
Of
I
course.
think they were waiting for Jadon to hang up his phone, put it in airplane mode, so they can go ahead and get over to Europe. But he brought me back two books. I'm super excited to get into them. I think that as you mentioned, right, AI's here. There's a mass loss of critical thinking skills. There's so much information that we have to be able to see the misinformation from the disinformation. I think we need to maintain the ability to have comprehension and read some freaking stinking books. So that's my final whistle. Once you're done the podcast, and only once you're done this podcast, go read a book.
That's a great toot. Let's
Yeah, let's
let's
take a
just
toot.
to finish out. Defenders by a billion. Player of the game for me, Briley Moore, captain, tight end, bringing the vibes. He had 2 touches in the game, 2 tutties, a 20-yard receiving touchdown, and he had that trick play where Tommy put the ball in his lap. Kais dialed it up. He's celebrating. The other assistant coaches are hugging our boy Fred. He's like, wow. Seeing Fred Kais burst with emotion like that. And
That's
Briley
something to
Moore
me.
dancing into the end zone, going into the beer snake, pouring beer on his face. Briley Moore is my
Wild move.
game.
Beer on your face during a football game is just
Yeah.
wild behavior. Like that was in the first half, no?
Yes, I believe it was toward the end of the first half. Yeah.
Beer on your face for the whole all of halftime, the Wale concert, the entire second half is unhinged behavior.
Yeah,
Shout
end of the
out,
first half.
shout out our offensive MVP. I'll cover the defensive side. Since you took the tight, it's hard to argue against that. 2 touchdowns, 2 touches, great job from the tight end position. I'm going with old man Gary on. The pick six, the lockdown, uh, being all over the field and having that energy play, right? Like there's not much more of an electric play in football than a pick six. Maybe a punt block, maybe a punt return for a touchdown, but anytime someone who's on defense or special team scores, it just sets the stadium on fire. Uh, Changes the game, changes the attitude, the momentum. The offense was actually moving down the field for once in that game. Uh, Tagovailoa was getting kind of into a rhythm, and even that play wasn't necessarily the quarterback's fault. The receiver stumbled out of his break, but Garyon was ready, made the play, earned himself the defensive MVP for this week. Great
I'm with
job.
it. All right. So, also, just to be clear, we are recording this before the Seattle Blackhawks play. And yeah, I'm ready. We're ready. I'll see you guys in the fan section next to the beer snake.
Are you
I
where are you
said,
sitting at?
so I got this like link. I got from a Facebook group. $10 tickets to sit in the fan section. So I'm in on that. So probably right next to the beer snake or right around it.
Oh, nice.
I'm a stout guy. I'll help hold
Yeah, yeah,
up.
that thing was getting heavy yesterday.
I think my stature's built for holding up the
Part of the beer
base of
snake,
the beer snake. Yeah.
base in the beer snake.
Yeah.
Um, that fan section is not close enough for you to be heard heckling. So, do you have a plan for how you're gonna get your heckling
No,
in?
so that's the thing. I haven't so this is my fourth game, fourth year, fourth game. Year one, beer snake. Year two and three, 50-yard line, close enough to heckle. Because these MLS stadiums are so close. They can hear you. Hakeem heard me. And I'm gonna go back to the beer snake. I think it's important to rotate. So we'll see.
All right. Well,
But
you're gonna have to be extra loud so your favorite player can hear you.
that's true. I'll find a way to get him to know. He'll hear the pod. Hakeem Butler, if you have a old Eagles jersey and you can get it to me, I'll love you even more. Forever.
Wow. All right. Time for us to wrap this
You're right.
episode
Sorry,
up.
I gotta stop myself. All right. Go Birds. Shields up. Seattle Blackhawks. R.I. Frinkin' Stinkin' P. Okay?
Till next time.
Till next time.
Peace.